Hello. So in last video we saw how can we pull the records incrementally based on last job run date of each and every source table. Basically we are using this date as a reference to identify records which got created recently or updated recently from corresponding source table. We are also using this SQL statement to derive last job run date. Now in this video we are going to modify this SQL statement a bit. So there is a filter which we had added last time, which is status equal to success. We really don't need that filter. Reason being, since we have implemented incremental load, it may happen for a day or two, there will not be any records at all in some of the source table. In that case, what will happen is, since we are first pulling the records from source and dumping them into CSV file, and then again reading that CSV file to load the records into staging table, and if there are no records for a particular source table, our CSV file will be blank. Okay. So while reading that CSV file, which doesn't have any records, this method will fail, read CSV method. And for very reason, we have added that try and except block. Okay. So if for a particular table, there are no records, that transaction will go into this exception block. Okay. And what will happen is it will skip the execution of all remaining logic and it will directly insert that particular entry or job run entry into this job run summary table. Okay, but while entering that entry, it will keep the status as failed. So basically what happens, so what will happen is, let's assume for 2 days there are no records to pull into departments or employees table. So last two entries in our job run history table or job run summary table would be failed entries. Now if we go back here, since we have added this filter called status equal to success, it will skip those latest two entries, last two entries. So the maximum date, maximum start date time or last job run date which this query will give will not be the accurate last job run date. So for that, we should not add this filter. Okay. Instead, we'll change, modify, or we'll add another filter condition. I will tell you what. I will remove that as of now, and I will copy this SQL statement, and I will run this against our data warehouse database. Okay, and what I will do, instead pulling directly max start date time, I will pull select max job run date, job run ID. Okay, so for a particular table, so let me change this to employees. Okay, so let's, for employees table, I am first deriving maximum job run ID, and based on that job run ID, I'm again using that in a select clause. So select star from where and job run ID in my max job run ID for that particular table. And I will again add this filter for table. And if I run this now I will get actual max job run date. Okay, so I will use this statement again. Perfect. Okay, and let me parameterize this. And I will copy this entire query again. Okay, so this is the query we are looking for. So this is a perfect query for our incremental load. Okay, now before going further, let's identify now if this query is running fine or not. So for that, what I will do, so let me add this entry again, employees table, employ employees. And if I run this guy, I'm getting entry as 19th February. If I use any other, instead of employees, if I use departments as well, I think I will get same 19th February. Okay, so basically what I'm doing, for each and every table, I am finding out maximum job run ID, the latest job run ID. I'm not adding any status filter. Okay, and based on that max job run ID, I am again deriving the large max value of start. You don't really need max, but I'm still keeping it. I'm getting maximum start date time, and I'm using that as a job run date. Now, for each and every table, whatever source tables we have, I will get to see 19th February. Okay, and if I go back here, so the query which we are using, the last job run date I am using, that I'm using in this query. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm deducting 3 more days. So I'm going back 3 more days from that particular job run date. So basically I'm using 3 days old records, okay, and from our each and every source table. So that means what? So let me grab this one. So I will replace this with this date and select. So I'm pulling all records from 16th Feb onwards. So if I go back here, this is my source table. Let me change that database to HR. So in my source table, if I use, let's say, employees, where, or let's identify max creation date and max updated date. So for my employees table, max creation date is 16th Feb. Okay. And here I am pulling all the records which got created or updated from 16th Feb onwards. So basically, if I run this query, if I use this date against employees table, it will pull all the records. So it is again a history load or full load. Okay, so let's, instead of employees, let's check departments, and let's take jobs as well. So basically for all tables, the minimum date or max date which we are seeing here is 16th February. So it will pull all the records. So if I use min date also, I should use min instead of max. So it is again 16th Feb. So if I run my job again, it will pull all the records. Okay, so let's run this again. And then we'll compare the record count in staging tables. I should see all the records. Select count star from st underscore employees. See, 112. If I use department, 27. So it's pulling all the records. Now, in order to validate this query again, not this one. In order to validate this query again, last time we updated st underscore employees record. Sorry, employees records 207 employee ID. So if I go back here in my source table, let me. Okay, so if I give star, and if I use, so let's check updated on here. It's all 16th Feb, except I think one record I updated. I think I updated one record where employee ID equal to 207. Yeah, so I updated this record on 19th Feb. So what I will do is, since I am pulling now, in order to derive last job run date, I am first pulling max job run ID. I will update this job run ID to, let's say, 20th. Okay, because 20 minus 3 is still 17, so it will not pull records which got created on 16th. So it will still pull this record. So I will tell you what exactly I am referring to. So here what I will do, let me pull this guy. The same thing which we did in last video. So where um, job run ID equal to 79. This is perfect. So it is giving me all the source tables, and I will update this. Update set start date time to. So instead of 19, I will change that to 20th. So if I, let's say, if I run this guy, I am seeing 20th. 20th minus 3 is again 17. So if I run this, let's say select star from departments where created on greater than or equal to 17th or updated on same thing, and I will put that in a bracket. If I run this, I should not see any records. But if I run this again in employees, since I have updated that record last time, I should see one record. Okay, so if I run my job right now, if I trigger this Python script, I should see only one record in which is this one, this record employee ID 207 into st underscore employees table, and remaining all staging table should be blank. So let's check that. Yeah, it's running, and let's validate now. So what I will do, okay, it has only one record, so our incremental load is working fine. I should not see any records in st underscore departments table as well. Perfect. So let's go back to our documentation. So what we did is we pulled the records incrementally from our OLTP transactional system into our staging table. So only one record we have in st underscore employees table, remaining all staging tables are blank. And I have also created a report. So if you check here, I have created this report based on our queue for this employee ID 207, and currently the salary is 2300. So if I go back and check in my staging table, salary for that same record is 2400. So basically what's happening is I have got updated record in my staging table. In order to move that record till my cube or till this report, I need to run this entire process one by one. So instead, what else I can do is I can, since I have already created a SQL job to run this entire process, I can directly execute that SQL job. Okay, so before that, one more thing which we have to take care is I will have to, if I run that SQL job again, it will start my process from here. Okay, so for that, let's first identify max job run ID. What happened? Okay, let's first identify max job run ID, which is 80, and I will update that to 20th. Okay, so now if I run this again, I should see again 20th. This is perfect. Now let's trigger our SQL job. So I'll go back here and I'll run my SQL job. So it's basically running each and every step till my cube refresh. Okay, job got finished. And if I go back and check my employees table, I should not see any records in departments table. I should see only one record in employees table. Yes, it has salary as 2400. Let's go back and validate ODS table, and I will filter it for employee ID 207. Here also salary got changed to 2400, and let's refresh this report now. Perfect, it worked. Okay, so our incremental strategy from end to end, starting from staging, pulling the records from staging table till refreshing the cube, worked perfectly fine. But still there is one more change we need to do. So let's go back and check here. So if I go back and open stored procedure of my ODS load, now if you see here, my ODS load strategy is insert and update. Okay, this is fine for this, for incremental load also it is fine. But if I go back and check my fact load strategy, it's still a truncate and insert. We had used this truncate insert option because there were we were pulling all the records, historical records or full load we are using. But now since we are using incremental load, we really don't have to go with truncate and insert. What we can do is we can go with delete and insert. Okay, I will tell you how we have to do that. So I will simply comment this guy first. Okay, now in order to delete the records from our fact table, we can join our staging table, but because now in our staging table we have only incremental or only few records. So what I can do is I will use fact table first. Fact. Okay, I cannot join my staging table with fact table directly. Reason being, in fact table I have employee ID, and that employee ID is not there in the, sorry, in staging table I have employee ID, and whereas in fact table I don't have that employee ID. So I cannot join that staging table with fact table directly. So for that I need to involve dimension table. So what I can do is join dim employee, dim emp on dim emp dot employee dimension key equal to fact dot employee dimension key. Perfect. And now I will involve my staging table. Join st underscore employees stemp on stemp dot employee id equal to dim emp dot employee id. Now we have to remember one thing here. Employee ID is not a primary key in my dimension table, employee dimension table. There are multiple employee IDs, multiple entries for same employee ID. Okay, so I need to involve. So if I keep only this particular condition, it will be many to many join or one to many join, many to many join. So instead, I need to involve another condition, that is stemp dot higher date equal to dim emp dot start date. Dim dot higher date again. Okay, but one more thing which we are missing here is in dimension table we have converted this higher date to integer. So same thing we have to do while doing the join. Otherwise, if I run this, it should not give me any records. See, it's not giving me any records. It's failing because of same date time conversion to int. Okay, so what I will do is let me go back to my load dim. I will simply copy this guy, or I will copy this condition. I'll close this and okay. So now if I execute this, I should get one record. Okay, perfect. Now instead of truncate, I will delete that record. So what are records which I am getting in fact table, I will delete that and then I will again insert that record. Okay, so delete fact. Okay, from this. This is perfect. So if I execute this, it should delete one record. It deleted one record. Now I cannot use this again because what will happen is in my ODS table, I have multiple entries. Okay, so if I run this again, it will try to insert all historical records. Whereas I'm supposed to insert only the incremental, only one record which got updated recently. So for that, I will do, I will join that ODS. I will join my staging table here, st underscore employees, okay, EMP, and I will copy this same condition. Rather, I should add all four conditions. So I will change this to ODS because granularity is different here. Uh, ODS dot start date. This is perfect. And again need to check the data here and EMP, EMP. ODS dot employee ID. This is perfect. And I don't think so I need to convert it here. So if I execute this, I should see, but I will still add another two conditions, because anyway I have those department ID equal to ODS dot department ID and employee dot job ID equal to ODS dot job ID. I'm just making sure I should not see. So whatever condition I can add, I will add those. Uh, this is perfect. And now I will use this one. Select star into this ODS from this ODS DER. I will use like this. I think this is fine. If I run this, oh, okay. I should use ODS dot star. Perfect. Okay, and so only one record, and I can insert it here now in fact table. If I execute this guy, it should insert only one record. Perfect. And let me execute this. So our stored procedure is finished. What I will do now is, let me go back. We'll again validate entire flow because we modified a lot of things here. Okay. We basically we converted truncate and reload into delete and insert, truncate and insert to delete and insert. So we'll validate that flow again. And for that, let me close this guy, and I will change my salary again in my source table. So here, currently the salary is 2400 and I will double it. So update this set salary equal to 4800, let's say. Okay. And before updating, okay, and I changed that salary to 4800. Updated on it's still 19, so this is fine. And before running my SQL job, the last thing I need to do is I need to update this entry. I will update this entry to 20th last job run. So if I run this query, I should get 20th. And for employees also, I should, let's check for employees. Perfect. So if I run this now, so let's run my SQL job. And if I refresh this, I should get 4800. So let's see. So let me scroll down. Start job at step. So we have converted this time truncate reload or truncate insert to delete insert in our fact load. Nothing else we have modified. I hope whatever changes we have done, those should work. This got succeeded, and let me go and refresh all. Perfect. Everything is fine. So if I check now my employees st underscore employees table, I will still see only one record here, and there should not be any records in departments table. No records. So this is